wasn't particularly excited to play this game after playing the Autobots version, but it could easily do better. In the original Bayformers adaptation, Decepticons was the better of the two, although that didn't mean the Autobots version was worse per se, because that's not the word I want to use. More like less good. I had a good feeling for what the Decepticons version would be like before I played it for the first time all those years ago. I was equally disappointed with the Decepticons version. Well, actually, I liked it less for reasons I'll get into. The game is literally sort of a rehash of the Autobots version, except we're doing Decepticon actions. The two versions have a lot of the same objectives and missions, which is not something I like. I would like doing the opposite most of the time. Since I was completely out of names, I just called my Decepticon character Slammer. That's how out of ideas I was. Anyways, we get a narration from the Fallen this time, describing the events of the first movie from the Decepticon perspective. Since Megatron is deceased, I wonder who we'll play as. STARSCREAM, the Dorito-shaped Transformer. I highly dislike STARSCREAM's design. It's so different from his original design, plus all the Decepticons have a grey colour scheme. It's very drab and boring. Since we play as STARSCREAM in this intro, does this mean we'll actually be able to play as him in challenges and we'll get to fly around in levels? No. Unless you count those crappy Top Gun missions, which I don't because that's not what I wanted. I guess they needed a character for this part, but goddamn is STARSCREAM such a chump. Instead of Ratchet we get Soundwave, which is the logical choice, so I'm not complaining there. STARSCREAM meets up with Grindor and Sideways, and the three of them exchange friendly words.
Look who's back. That's too bad. I was hoping an Autobot had taken you out. Careful, Grindor. You don't want to get on my bad side. Bad side? Ha! I didn't know you had a good side.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out.
Jesus, none of these guys can treat each other with decency. They're constantly bickering. No one respects STARSCREAM as a leader. So point is, like the Autobots version, a protoform lands a while away, and STARSCREAM actually manages to get to the protoform first. It makes more sense that he'd actually get there first because he's a military jet, and Optimus Prime's a truck. Well, point is, Creator-Bot, or Slammer, is a Decepticon rookie in this version. And predictably, Optimus shows up too late. And now it's STARSCREAM's turn to gloat. So essentially we have to get back to the Brazilian town. Except Soundwave is guiding us. We have to scan 3 vehicles. None of them are air vehicles because of course they aren't. Now we still get only 3 options, with all 3 of them being worse than the Autobots version. Light is probably the best one and probably the one Samuel L. Jackson would pick because purple is his favourite colour, but the vehicle form is crap. Medium looks like a hunchback. Seriously, this dude looks like he has a sore back. He needs to get it checked. And Heavy is even fatter than the Autobots version. What is the heavy vehicle mode even supposed to be? It looks like a military vehicle of sorts, but I have no idea what it is. Well, I picked medium, which was probably a mistake, because looking at this hunchback design made me feel like I had a sore back too. Jesus, playing this game gave me back pain, I'm not kidding. I need a massage after this. Also, the melee animation moveset is terrible. Granted, the Autobot medium moveset wasn't really good either, but it was at least tolerable. We go speak to Grindor and Sideways for like 10 seconds, and then it's the boss fight with Motor Ram from the other version. The boss fight is literally the same. And then we've got filler missions in Europe. We go to Ukraine, where we essentially have to do the exact same thing as the Autobots version. Scan vehicles across the level, with the only difference being that you have to destroy them afterwards. That's it. England next. For some reason, the munitions factory actually belongs to the Decepticons in this version. So we literally have to do the same thing we did in the Autobots version. Why couldn't we armor bomb instead? Switch the objectives around, god damn it. I'm criticizing the games for being too similar, except the factions are swapped out. Next mission, the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah.
They never say hello to you until you get it on the red line out below. You'll never know what you can do until you get it up as high as you can go.
Yeah, the only difference is that we play as Starscream, and my complaints remain the same, with the addition of rehashed objectives. The challenges have you play as Barricade and Sideways. Barricade is an interesting choice. He was completely absent from the sequel, and didn't make a big appearance until the last night, mostly because the writers forgot about him and then decided to bring him back. So he's literally the only Decepticon to survive all the Bayformers movies without dying once. That's almost impressive. Until you realize that he was only able to do that because the writers forgot about him. Still, Barricade got a better fate than all the other Decepticons. So anyways, when we make it to Rome, of course the mission is too similar. At least we don't have to escort anyone this time. The boss fight is Bumblebee, and it's not like the boss fights were any different. All you need to do is run in circles, shooting Bumblebee, scan satellites, and then he dies. Boo-hoo. Anyways, the next set of missions are in Asia. Siberia is a bit different, but it doesn't feel different enough. Simply Asia is way better than the Autobots version, because you don't have to load crates. A vast improvement if I've ever seen one. When we get to Japan, our objective is to destroy generators across the level. There's so many of them that you think the Autobots are trying to save the planet by saving energy or something. After all the pointless challenges, our next mission consists of, well,
highway to the danger zone. I'm gonna take you right into the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone.
Seriously, instead of going to Shanghai, they dedicate one of the main missions to be a shitty flying level, where we basically have to revive Megatron, something that takes way too long. You know, what I would have done is have the mission task Slammer with infiltrating the nest base and steal the Allspark shard. Maybe having a boss fight with Sideswipe or whatever. And that would have been way better than a goddamn flying mission. This level was so boring. At the final segment of the level, we have to protect Grindor for a solid 4 minutes. I'm not kidding. We have to put up for this crap for 4 minutes. And half the time, you're just waiting for enemies to appear so you can shoot them. Anyways, Megatron makes his glorious return.
At last, I live once again. Lord Megatron, we're honored to have you back. Most of us, anyway. The Fallen has seen fit to revive you, if it had been my decision. If you were making decisions, we'd all be at the bottom of the ocean.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out.
One thing I don't like is that the most Megatron does is just threaten Starscream. In G1 at least, he would at least give Starscream a beating for speaking out against him. Back to base, we go to North America. We do a mission where the tacos are made. Basically, we have to send out a fake distress signal to the Autobots in this Mexican town, and god damn is it hard. The second half of the game is challenging because it has turrets that are so accurate, and if you're not moving fast enough, you'll be caught in the crossfire. The Autobots version is way easier. Damn it. Next mission. We go to the country that gave us Justin Bieber. Remember when he was one of the most hated people in the world? Anyways, we have to scan terminals. It's hard because of the swarm of enemy turrets. Next, we go to the American military base, and we go and infiltrate the base. Now, it's here where some of the best missions come around. If there's one thing I can give the Decepticons version, it's that Megatron is awesome as a playable character. Unlike all the other characters from both versions, Megatron can shoot in vehicle mode. I don't understand why none of the other characters can shoot. If it was in the last game, why couldn't it be here? It's also small things that contributes to the inferiority. So anyways, we go to the Big Apple, and I can hardly tell the difference between this and the Autobots version. Seriously, I could literally commit self-plagiarism half the time, and replace the faction names around. If I'm repeating myself, my apologies. But the objectives are the same half the time. So we go to confront Ironhide, which is a rehash of all the boss fights, and it's underwhelming as ever. So with Ironhide defeated, we extract information from JETFIRE and go to the world map to where we do the last set of missions in Africa. Arabia, South Africa, and the Sahara, I don't even want to talk about. It's just hard-ass rehashed missions, and the challenge where you play as Megatron is half decent, but nothing more than that. When we get to Egypt, we essentially have to scan the matrix of leadership, fight our way to our allies, and then we're tasked with destroying Optimus Prime. The entire way there is exactly the same as the Autobots version. And if you think Optimus Prime is any different as a boss, you should know better by now. Although Slammer's relentless dedication to destroy Optimus Prime is impressive through the dialogue, but that's about it. It's the same rehashed boss fight. The final cutscene is an improvement over the Autobots version, where the Fallen recognizes our skill to kill Optimus Prime, and now we're the leader of the Decepticons under the Fallen. That's a way more satisfying ending than the original game, where Megatron just kills Creator-Bot. Megatron whines and Starscream laughs in his face, so that's a desirable ending. Our character is now the second to the Fallen, and we get to conquer the universe with him, not Megatron. Megatron is now just a foot soldier. Unlucky for him, but he deserves it. So that's the Decepticons version. This version is probably worse than the Autobots version, with the biggest flaw being that one of the main missions is a flying mission, which I've made no secret I hate. There's other downgrades like a worse Creator-Bot selection. It's either Purple Shorty, Hunchback, or Obese Fat Ass. Pick one of the three. The DS port must have been rushed. There's no way they could have so many downgrades if it wasn't rushed. Since this is the tie-in game, we'll probably never hear anything about the development story. They only do that for the big AAA games. But I'm really curious why these decisions were made. Whether it be budget cuts, rushed development, laziness, or all three. Seriously, I've said before that there's no excuse why the sequel shouldn't have been better. This is lame. There wasn't as much to talk about because a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff, is the same as the Autobots version. You still can't play as any of the other characters in the multiplayer. Decepticons' only advantage is having Megatron as a playable character. That's it. I am very disappointed. But as we'll soon see in the very next tie-in game, it's about to get even worse. But before that, I'll probably talk about the Transformers animated game, or the DS ports of War for Cybertron. I give this game a 6 out of 10. It's only a step above mediocre. I'm JJ Plagiarisms. And until next time, what are stories about mystery boxes?